This is a great question because I've had many different partners in many different portions of the industry. And I believe the common thread for all good partnerships, and I'm not even saying they are a good partner, but the feeling is mutual, right? Like I need them to also believe that we are a good partner. And so those mutual feelings come across when expectations are very clear and set, as well as having a very aligned vision, right? If we don't have an aligned vision, if we don't have an idea of how we want to move forward together, and there might be competing ideas about strategy or implementation or commercialization, that's when there will be, I don't want to say a power struggle, but to that same effect, like there is essentially I don't know how to say it without being rude, but essentially like this is how we're moving. If you don't move this way, then we can separate or we can figure out a way to sell off. We need to figure out a way that we are all on the same page and making sure we're driving towards the same goal. And I know that the alignment is never 100%, right? Like you always try to do that with your employees by giving them some options or, feeling like they're part of the company and working towards a greater valuation of said company. But when you're talking about a wholly separate business or group that we are working together for what is seemingly a common goal, it's not always a common goal. So we just have to make sure that we want them to win, they want us to win, and if we don't both win, then it's not a great partnership.
Yeah, it seems like a lot of it is comes partly down to like when you're having that initial conversations and deciding if you want to work together is really focusing on having a lot of honesty and making sure like it's clear is like be honest now, let's really be honest about what we want versus what we don't want. So we don't have to, we're not trying to, position ourselves just to kind of close the deal and having a lot of honesty up front is what it sounds
It's
like, I imagine.
that's definitely the case, and this sounds really silly, but it's also a lot of getting to know the other group and sensing where they stand regardless of what they're saying, right? Kind of understanding through their body language or things that they may have said off the cuff that they don't feel like mean anything, that me and my team can then decipher and understand where their true intentions may or may not lie. So, vibe, that's like a really important thing. If we can't be friendly with you, if I don't think I can go out for a drink with you or smoke a J with you, maybe we're not the right partners.
Yeah. Do
Yeah.
you actually have a formal checklist? And if so, if not, it doesn't surprise me either. But if so, are there things that are, non-starters and or like absolute requirements?
Yeah, so obviously I mostly get to choose the partners. Me and my team are able to vet them and do our due diligence and understand, fly out, meet with them, tour their facilities if they are a producer, retailer, their store if they're a retailer, all that kind of stuff. And it really comes down to whether or not, yes. So, Adam, your first question was, is there a checklist, right? When we're talking about actual product and production, the first item on that checklist, and there's no other items after it, if it's not checked off, is quality of product. That is our number one tenet when it comes to anything cannabis related, hemp related with Snoop, because we need to, like, Snoop authentically lives his life the way he lives it, which in this world is he smokes a lot, right? And we didn't need to create a brand for him. We didn't need to commercialize his idea of what he wanted to do with Death Row Records and how he wanted to put cannabis into it. We can always get him flour whenever we want. People give it to him and throw it at him, right? But to be authentically smoking your own product because you actually like it. And not just that. Last week he even mentioned to me, and I knew this already, but he was like, I want the product to be so good that sometimes I go and buy it. Like half the time, if not more. Maybe it's not me physically walking into the store, but I'm giving my assistant $500 cash to go and buy my product because I want it and it's so close. It's literally 3 miles down the road. That's when I know we've done a good job. When he himself doesn't need to hit us up for a drop, but rather, hey, I know that the store is right there. I know that Tiffany's probably busy on a Sunday, or Shaggy's with his kids, or AK's running around in Nevada or Amsterdam. So then he's like, I'm going to tape the load off of them and just go to the store and figure it out. And he does that because he likes the product so much. That has been one of our biggest reasons I feel that we've been able to sustainably grow for the last 2 or 3 years since we launched the brand. After that, it's really about understanding what their market looks like, as well as their position in the market. Are they considered to be a friendly in the market, right? There have been many groups that have oodles of cash that are like, yeah, we're ready to give you blah, 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 and get you this and get you a private jet and visit here and blah, blah, blah. And once we start doing a little due diligence and we ask around, there's like 5 separate groups and different data points saying like, don't work with that guy. And we'll dig to the bottom of it. And if that's the case, we can't work with an individual or a group that is viewed in the market as not playing nice in the sandbox, right? So there are many of those situations where things look a little too good to be true on paper, on the call, on a meeting. And once we do a little bit more digging, we realize what the root cause may or may not be. Quality of product, obviously, the ability to commercialize and understand like legal ramifications and really have things buttoned up. We just can't be doing that for every single territory that we're trying to go to. We understand the basics of the legal status as well as regulations, but that's not going to be on us to manage, right? We're going to be providing the artwork and the direction and the IP and, Snoop and, whether or not he's demonstrating and smoking or doing a voiceover or something else, right? Like popping up and saying, make sure to go to P37 for some New Mexico fire, right? Whatever that is, that's how we kind of support who we do have in the market while also making sure that it's a complementary type of relationship, right? Like we are here with assets. You guys are here for operations, and that's how we want to work together. But yeah, I would say again, quality first, but in terms of market exception, like they are accepted by the market as a partner, that's important to us as well.